Hi, I'm Chava Green. We're just a few days away from Yud Shevat, and I was thinking, as busy Jewish women, I have not prepared anything, I haven't learned anything, and I was thinking last night, I really want to learn a little bit of Basi Lagani. And sometimes that can feel like a very overwhelming, thing to do. Where do I start? But I have this book, Lessons in Sefer Ma'amarim, in English, and so I just picked it up. I opened up to Basi Lagani, and I started learning, and I wanted to share a little bit with you as a hachana for Yud Shvat. So this Basi Lagani is from Tafshin Yud Aleph. It's the Rebbe's first discussion of the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimer Basi Lagani. And so in some ways this is our mission statement. This is our path, and the Rebbe holding our hand and telling us this is what we're supposed to be doing in our lives. And why? What is our goal? And he starts off just in the beginning telling us, what are we supposed to do? What is our unique mission in the history of the Jewish people? The beginning, he talks about drawing down the Shechina into this lowest world. That's how the Frierdiker Rebbe begins. Basi Lagani, not Lagan, not the garden, but Lagani, into my Gani, which refers to the wedding chambers of Hashem, coming Aman Torah and giving us the Torah, and it's our wedding with Hashem. And what does that look like? It's a deep, deep internal connection where Hashem's essence comes down into the world, the Shechina. And so the Rebbe says, this is what is demanded of each and every one of us in the seventh generation. These are the Rebbe's words. All who are seventh are cherished, although the fact we're in the seventh generation is not the result of our own choice or service, meaning we didn't do anything great to accomplish the cherishedness of being in the seventh generation. And it's not even really about like our personality, our capabilities, what we do. It's who we are. The fact that we're the seventh generation, that inherently means that we have this cherished status. And the Rebbe says, indeed, in certain ways, it may be contrary to our will, meaning sometimes we might think, I don't want all this responsibility. Nevertheless, all those who are seventh are cherished. And the Rebbe says, Shnimsa'im anachnu be'ikfa de Mashiach. We find ourselves in the era of the ikfa de Mashiach, the footsteps. So Mashiach is here. And he says, Bisiyuma b'de'ik visa. We are actually in the conclusion of this period. V'havaida. What is our avaida? Is to complete the process of drawing down Hamshachas Hashchina, the Shechina. And not just the Shechina, but the Ikar Shechina, the essence of the Shechina, into this world, into our lowly world. Okay, so that is our mission. We know this, right? Bring the Shechina into this world. How do we do it? Okay, so first of all, the question is, why is the essence of Hashem found in this lowest world? It's a contradiction in terms. Hashem's essence is lofty, pure, untouchable, completely without any boundaries. This world is down in the muck, and there's evil, and everything is constrained, constricted, delineated. So why is Hashem's light found here? Why is that the goal? Okay, because a dwelling place, a home, the boundaries of a home actually allows for the expression of essence. That's a whole nother share. I could do that another time, but the lowest, very lowest place is actually void of revelation. And revelation and essence are opposites. When something is revealed, it loses its essential character because it's now being able to be seen by someone else. It's in a lessened state of essence. So when there's no revelation in this dark, dark world where there's no revelation of godliness, in fact, Hashem's very essence can be found there. And why is it called Adira? And the Rebbe says, Kamei Hadira Hare Ha'adam Darba B'kol Atzmuso V'Mahuso. Just as a person who, when he's in his home, he can manifest his entire essence and his self. And I think as women, we hopefully completely relate to this, that our greatest expression of ourselves is when we're in our home. And even the furniture we choose, the foods we choose, it all is a very deep part of us coming out. Because in our home, we get to experience and reveal our deepest self, not the self that we bring out into the world, but our truest self in our home. And Hashem wants to be at home in the entire world. Think about when you come back from shopping and you just walk in the house and like drop all your bags and you're like, now I'm just back in my space. So Hashem wants it to be that he's in the world and we just see him, and it's like he's like, I'm here, I'm just me. Okay, so how do we do this? It could seem, the Rebbe says, like this is a very, very difficult thing to do. How could we, as the seventh generation, which in some ways is the lowest, how can we accomplish this? And one of the things he says is that we actually receive this empowerment and the ability and the kayach to fulfill our mission because we are the seventh generation, which means we receive from all six previous generations, going all the way back to the Alter Rebbe. And there's two different seventh generations. There's the Hasidic seventh generations, the Alter Rebbe is the first, and then there's the Avos, and Avraham Avinu is the first. And about Avraham, it says that he proclaimed godliness in the world, and he caused other people to proclaim godliness. So we're going to get back to that in a second. But right now, I want to share in this first mimer, this first Basi, the Gani of the Rebbe, he gives a story of of all of the Rebbeim that came before him. And the one he gives of the Alter Rebbe is one of my favorites of the Alter Rebbe, which is that the Rebbe is saying, how do we have the ability to have such deep avodah? And the one he describes is the deep avodah of Avos Yisrael. It's not a simple thing to have complete love for another Jew beyond your own, to go above and beyond your own needs. What's the example he brings of the Alter Rebbe is that one day, one Yom Kippur, he interrupted his davening during Kol Nidre, and he went and chopped wood and cooked a soup, and he fed it to a woman who had just given birth because there was no one else to take care of her. The Alter Rebbe didn't send somebody else. He himself wanted to go do that. I love this story because the idea that the very, very loftiest of people are involved in the very lowliest of things, the most physical, practical of things, it should inspire us. We know we're not like on the level of the Alter Rebbe, but how the more so can we be involved in the material things and have Avos Yisrael for other people. Okay, 2 more points. The next one is that how do we do the avodah of drawing the Shekhinah down below? There's 2 aspects, iskafia and ishapcha. Iskafia is to look at all of the ways we are drawn down into the gashmis of the world, and we break that strong desire for gashmis things. And sometimes we know that sometimes we have this obsession that we want to go on our phone and scroll on videos, or want to have certain foods, or we need that new cool sheitel or something like that. And the idea of hiskafia is to first break that feeling of I have to have something that's a gashmias thing. But that's not where the avodah ends, because we know that all of those things have holiness within them. So the next layer of avodah is hishapcha, of transforming that. So if you're I really want to scroll on videos on my phone, then hishapcha is to think, what's going on? Maybe I need some sort of relaxation. Maybe I need to take care of myself. Maybe there's something in me that's saying, you took care of everyone else the entire day, and now you need to do something for yourself. But maybe that's not the right thing. Maybe it's going to exercise, or reading a book of stories, or going for a walk, or maybe it's calling a friend or connecting. There's a way to take that desire of relaxation and do his hapcha to transform it into something that's really going to fill you. So too with really wanting a cool new style of clothing or sheitel, first comes the hiskafia of I don't need that actually. That's a gashmias thing that I don't actually need, and break that strong fiery, he calls it this fiery passion of the nefesh bahamis. And so what's the next stage is to turn it into his hapcha, and to take that, the Rebbe says, the shtus, the nefesh bahamis, the craziness that we have over physical things in the world. Every person, and the Rebbe says, every person knows too well that they possess this, and the fire of the animal soul, which every person also knows that they have. And it's possible at times one can sink even lower than that, which is, unfortunately we know that. And the last thing the Rebbe says is we take from this to transform it, to flip it, lahafech, to completely go to its opposite extreme for shtus de kedusha, and to be just obsessed in the Rebbe's Inyanim, and to be obsessed with Yiddishkeit, with a fire. Okay? And one of the ways we do this, one of the most powerful ways we do this, is what I'm doing right now. So I learned this mimer, and I thought, this is really beautiful. I love these ideas. I want to meditate on it. I want to think about it. But really, I'm probably going to close the sefer, put it away, and then that was it. And so the very last thing that I was said is, remember I said about Avraham Avinu that we get kayach from him to do our avodah as the 7th generation? What did Avraham do? He was known for proclaiming that God exists in the world, but there's a Maimer Chazal that says, don't read it as he proclaimed, but rather he motivated others to proclaim. Okay, so there's both interpretations, the Rebbe says. One is he proclaimed inside himself that there is an Eibishter. But how did he really motivate himself to do that? Is that he showed other people, he inspired other people to proclaim Hashem's name. How do we fill ourselves with that fire for Yiddishkeit, that shtus de kedusha, that passion, that excitement that we're bringing Mashiach and we're the 7th generation and like we're so inflamed in our Judaism? Is that we have to share it with other people. We have to learn something and we have to then say, who am I going to share this with? And the Rebbe says, like, there are people that don't know Aleph Beis. This is a classic vort of the Rebbe. And we could think like, most of the people I interact with, like if we're not in Shlichus, it's like I live in a community, most people know what's going on with Yiddishkeit. But the point is there's always more to teach. If we have our own children, we can teach them Aleph Beis. You know, if we have friends that could learn a Sicha with us or learn a Maimar or share. The idea is think about all the ways in your life that maybe your own Yiddishkeit is not having that fire, that burning like passion. One of the ways to increase that is to give to others. So I want to bench us all that this Yod Shevat, we tap deeper and deeper into our purpose in this generation and just realign. This comes every year. Yod Shevat comes to help us reconnect to the Rebbe, reconnect to our mission as Lubavitcher Hasidim and as Jews, and to first of all feel that we are cherished. Our Avodah is so needed and necessary. And yeah, it's not because of us. It's just the situation that we were put into being born in this generation, and we have the power to accomplish everything we are supposed to from all of the Rebbeim that came before us, and including and especially the Rebbe. So I took this little video with the Rebbe watching over me because we need to have these moments where we remember who we are and what we're here for.